Good evening again. My name is Andrei Gushin. I'm chair of VentureLab, and we're glad to have you here. This is the last event of the season, and I think we saved the best for the last. Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope to see you again next season.
It's been a very interesting process putting this together, and I've had plenty of time to think about it. It's better if somebody says, do you want to do this yesterday, and you do it today. But when you have a month to think about it, you kind of go back and start looking at a lot of the elements and spend a lot of time kind of digging into it and trying to figure out what is it I can share and what is it that is going to be kind of irrelevant. And I'd like to share all of it with you because it's all very relevant. There's so many steps and there's so much in this process. You know, the first step in putting a business together really comes with a commitment and a vision and the comfort in taking a measured risk. You've got to take the risk. If you don't take the risk, you're not in the game.
Every small company likes to think that they're going to be a strategic buy, but it's hard to make that happen. It's hard to figure out how to make that happen. And one of the challenges when you're sitting across the table from the CFO of the large acquirer is that they always want to convert the discussion into a pure income statement analysis and projecting the numbers that you actually have and you going through this schizophrenic discussion of, on the one hand, they're saying that they really are interested in purchasing you, and on the other hand, telling you how you're worth so little and this is why they should pay you so little. And so the game is always to try to convert it from a financial acquisition to a strategic acquisition.
Getting in that position required to take some early steps like this to get some traction. You got to get traction. You got to find your adopters.
By keeping the working capital low, you keep your preferences low. For capitalization purposes, if you're selling, preferred stock, you keep your preferences lower. You possibly reduce the need to sell preferred stock with preferences. Mm-hmm. So when the time comes that you do sell your business, the amount of money going to the founders who have common stock and the employees who have common stock options is maximized, and you don't need to get a sale of hundreds of millions of dollars in order for money to trickle down to the common stockholders.
He's exactly right.
And it's
exactly.
It's very, I like to think that you should start to sell the company when you organize it, when you incorporate it. You should always do everything you do should be through the lens of how can I sell this business, and the ramifications of keeping working capital low are just enormous, both from a business and from a legal and a corporate finance point of view.
A dominated niche is a fabulous niche to find because it's protected. I mean, they put up an umbrella, the pricing, and they keep up the price, and it's theirs. And then if they're a big company like a Zimmer, they kind of let it taper, and they kind of milk the cash cow, and they don't invest, and they lose track. That's where the opportunity is. Bill of materials must be tight. It's got to be squeaky tight. And go back and look at that bill over and over again. This machine, standing here, total overhead, everything in it, $950 to $1,000. Average selling price, $12,000 to $13,000. That's a great margin.
One of the challenges, I think, is that you're accomplished business people, you're great entrepreneurs, you've worked your butts off to get a company and a product to the point where someone else wants to buy it, and then you kind of enter this M&A world where all of a sudden there's another cast of characters. There's lawyers and accountants and maybe investment bankers, and there's people talking languages that you don't know in terms of indemnification and warranties and reps and schedule of exceptions. And while it all sounds Greek, it's very important because it determines the ultimate economics of the deal to you.
Stryker had sent in their team of God knows how many people. I mean, there was this huge group of people showed up at our office. We had nowhere them to sit. They all wanted, where can I get a phone? I need to sit down. I need my laptop hooked up. Do you have Wi-Fi? Geez, come on. I mean, you people you're in our way. We're busy. They sent out 3 real high-level sales guys to go into the market and check us out live at user sites. And what was the message back? They love the machine. So Stryker was finding out for themselves the people love the machine. They called off their trip. I mean, they had this big trip. We had to set up all these meetings. They were out a day and said, forget it. You know, it's not even worth doing. I mean, this machine is really popular. There's no question about it. But the trick was that the mistake they made, which we exercised the benefit of, was they let their sales force, because they had done this with sales guys, they let their sales force know they were looking to buy this. Let me tell you, there are two groups of people that spread rumors faster. It's my daughter on Facebook and sales guys. How do you differentiate a company at a trade show? Because that's where the battles are fought. That's where the action is, right? It really is in our business. Visual differentiation, and I'll show you what that is. Validated messages. Do not go to a trade show, do not do any marketing, do not do any promoting without validating your messages. So we had a secret weapon because there was no way we were going to get recognized at this trade show just because we were there. But this was our secret weapon, and it was my chairman came up with this. And he does some work in Africa. I'm not going to tell you what it is. The trick was we got just one or two nurses to come into the booth, or whoever it was, clinicians, and take a look at the product, and they'd say, oh, what are those? We're not going to tell you until you try the pump. And so you had to stand there and do trial. You had to turn it on, turn it off, inflate, deflate, then you got your thing. And then we would tell them what it was. And then we'd say, don't tell anybody. So now they got a secret. And what do? Go get a friend. We had a line of people at our booth lining up to get these little things, and nobody knew what they were. Simple, effective, it's marketing. We added a new small product. Our family is growing. And this was my wife's idea to send out a birth announcement. So we sent out a birth announcement. Nurses loved it. The little baby smart pump was 7 pounds, 9 ounces, and it was 13 inches long. And they came by to see the new baby pump. But it's a community, and that stuff just spreads. I mean, it really works. Jack Welch said this, our friend at GE. If you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. And that really is the message. You know, if you're going to get in, if you're launching a business like this that's in a niche, that's going after a piece of business, don't do it unless you've got a competitive edge. The silent threat of rent versus buy. Let me tell you, it's a horrible death as a company to innovate, to create the business, to market, and then have a distributor or a distribution relationship set up. They don't have to buy you. They've already got you. They've got your distribution. So you have to be very careful about how you do your distribution, or you end up rented. And you never get sold, you never get acquired, and you aren't acquirable. That's the last point. Don't be afraid to take the plunge. Thank you all very much.